Okay.
Presiding Chancellor, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. This morning we're fortunate to have as our guest speaker Mr. Ben Walsh, a senior executive with the world's largest human resources consulting firm, Mercer. Ben has had a very impressive career. He has been the Managing Director and Market Leader for Mercer in the Pacific since 2000. He is also the Australian Chairman at Marsh and McLennan Companies. In more than 20 years with the group, Ben has worked in 4 countries across many of its business areas, including 7 years as a senior account executive at Marsh. He spent time insurance broking in London at Lloyd's and in San Francisco with Sedgwick James of California. We're pleased that Ben is a graduate of the University of Melbourne, completing his Bachelor of Commerce with honours in economics in 1993. He became a Fellow of the Australian and New Zealand Institute of Insurance and Finance in 1996 and completed his MBA with the Melbourne Business School in 2002. It's a pleasure to call on Ben to address us this morning. Please welcome Ben Walsh.
I remember vividly sitting where you sit today, looking at the university staff on stage and wondering what degree the green-coloured gown of the fellow with the mace might stand for. I was conscious of my family and supporters who were sitting here with me, and also those joining me in spirit from far away, proud of this moment, of this huge achievement, really of this marker in life where my student days were closing and a new chapter of serious adulthood was about to begin. Working, and not just to pay for beer and pizza and dates on Saturday night, but a career. And I remember this sense of uncertainty around what comes next. Do I need to buy a briefcase? I've seen on TV that people in real jobs, they have a briefcase. I better get a briefcase. And as my mind wandered around these uncertainties, around what comes next, I was brought back to this room, to this occasion, to this moment. I wonder when my name will be called. And gee, I hope I don't trip on my gown on those stairs as my name is being announced. Perhaps you are more assured and more mature than I was on this occasion, which for me was some 25 years ago. Because for sure it's a different world that we live in today. But having said that, I bet graduands today are not too different from graduands in my day. I'm sure right now someone is reading the conferring of degrees booklet and saying quietly to themselves, "Are you serious? Someone's getting a PhD for studying that?" It's in this context that while time has moved on, and I think you're probably not too dissimilar as to how I was when I was in your shoes, that I want to talk about this occasional address and ask for your forbearance to take a slightly different approach to how these addresses usually go. You see, I remember in my day someone like me got up from their seat and spoke to me about something important, something terribly profound. I'm sure it was profound, but I tell you, for the life of me, to this day, I can't remember what was said. I think maybe because I wasn't ready to hear the message. I remember that there was this moment, this really important moment in my life, but the occasional address, it was a little lost on me. So I'm not going to speak to you today about something terribly profound. Things such as the importance of purpose and meaning in life and in a career. These things are vital, to be sure, but you've got time, perhaps even a lifetime, to think about these issues. And I'm not going to speak to you about ethics and integrity as critical and as topical as these things are. I will leave others to help you think and reflect on these concepts. What I'd like to do, simply, is give you 2 pieces of reflection that I wish I had received when I was sitting where you sit now. 2 pieces of practical advice that I think would have helped me in my quest to find and keep a good job. 2 pieces of advice which, by the way, could help make the world a better place. These 2 suggestions, when I tell them to you, are going to seem easy, like you've already got them covered, and you're going to be tempted to start thinking again about the fella on stage with the green sash. But stay with me, and if you put into practice what I'm now going to suggest, your life, that of your future employers, and of the world may become just a little bit more awesome. So here goes, my number 1 piece of advice that I wish someone had told me when I was in your position 25 years ago. Are you ready? Here it is. Be yourself. That's it. I told you you'd think it's basic, that you've already got it covered. But I tell you this, too often in my career I've seen people acting differently at work than they do at home. I've seen people try to fit in, to be the same, to hide who they are and what makes them different and special, to compete on other people's terms. And doing that takes energy. It's tiring. And it puts people doing this at a disadvantage to those that are simply being themselves. You know, there have been profound technological advances that have occurred since I graduated. When I graduated, there was no email, no internet, no mobile phones, certainly no smartphones, no Netflix, and no swiping left and swiping right. But in addition to technological change, there has been meaningful social change too. Most organisations have woken up to the fact that diversity and inclusion is something that needs to be nurtured, embraced and celebrated. Find an employer that will allow you to be you. An employer that believes that diversity of thought, style, religion, race, sexuality, gender is a good thing because it promotes better business outcomes and is the right thing to do besides. Find a leader that wants their people to be successful, not in spite of who they are, but because of who they are, and go work for them. And one day, when it's your job to hire people, be such a leader yourself and pay it forward. Okay, so here comes number 2. Number 2 is something I didn't do and wished I had. I'm sure I was told about its importance, perhaps because I'm an introvert, perhaps because I didn't believe it was necessary, perhaps because I was busy with things that were more urgent or more fun. I didn't do something that is extremely helpful to one's career. Before I tell you my number 2 piece of advice, let me take a very quick step backwards. When I was growing up, I knew everyone in the street that I lived. I was in and out of their homes, tearing up their front yard and stealing milk from their fridges. When I was growing up, there was a sense of community where I lived. People got together at church, at the yacht club, at the park, in the street. People helped people out. Not because they expected anything in return, but because in a community, that's what you do. The world seems to be different today. Maybe it's faster, maybe it's harder, maybe it's more selfish. I don't know, but I tell you, as a society, we've lost something. There's something you can do about this that will help you and make the world a better place. We all have our passions, our tribes, the people with whom we share a common interest. I'm talking about a different type of tribe that you have in your grasp right now. But you could, and I did, easily let it go. That tribe is sitting next to you in this hall right now. The other graduates of 2018 who are going out into the world to do interesting things, have experiences that will be different to yours and end up in different areas of the economy to you. It will be easy to stay in touch with the close group of friends that you have developed over your years of study, and you will. It will be quite easy to stay in touch with people that end up working in the same field as you, and you will, for somewhere between 3 and 7 years. But it will be almost impossible to stay in touch with people who go into different fields as you, who work in different locations as you. And these people, they will become captains of industry, pillars of society, change agents and provocateurs. When you're my age, you'll have an endless supply of people and companies reaching out to you, offering you networking opportunities to create mutually beneficial relationships with people such as these. But you have these people in your grasp already, and you have something in common that can give you a lifelong reason to stay connected, to help each other out. because you are graduates of one of the top tertiary institutions in the world. So my second piece of practical advice to you, in addition to being yourself, you should direct some energy to building and giving value to your alumni networks. And if you can do that, you will have a rich source of skill, experience and perspective you'll be able to lean on as your career unfolds. And in time, you'll be able to pay it forward to others. Graduates, I congratulate you on successfully completing your studies and earning a degree from the University of Melbourne. Best of luck, and when it's your turn to come on stage to collect your hard-earned degree, do mind that third step from the top.